Hey guys, today we're going to continue our work with angle relationships. The relationship we're looking at today is the interior or inside angles of a triangle. They add up to equal 180 degrees. So right now, pause the video and I want you to refresh yourself and write down the steps on how to find missing angle measures. So now that you've written down your steps, let's take a look at this new relationship. So first let's draw a triangle. And let's call this triangle ABC. So the relationship that we're looking at today is that if you add all of the inside angles up of a triangle, they'll equal 180 degrees. So let's look at what that looks like. Let's say angle A is a 50-degree angle. And let's say angle B is a 60-degree angle. And then we're going to make angle C a 70-degree angle. Well, the new relationship says if I add all three of those numbers up, they should equal 180 degrees. And they do. 60 plus 50 is 110, and 110 plus 70 is 180 degrees. So now let's look at how we can use that to find missing angle measures. So let's look at example 1. So first let's draw our triangle. And we're going to call this triangle GHI. And I'm going to say angle G is 2x. Angle H is 4x minus 20. And angle I is also 2x. Well, according to our new relationship, to write our equation, I would add all of those up and make them equal 180. So let's do that. So it doesn't matter which angle you start with, just pick one and make sure you write them all down. So I'm just going to start with G. So I'm going to write 2x plus 4x minus 20 plus 2x, and the relationship says they all equal 180. So that's my equation. Step 3 in my step says solve for x. So the first thing I notice is I need to combine like terms, and I need to fix something. That should not be 20, that should be 2x. There we go. And that makes that a like term here. So I've got 2x plus 4x is 6x. 6x plus 2x is 8x. So I have 8x minus 20 equals 180. So now I need to isolate that variable. So I'm going to add 20 to both sides. And I get 8x equals 200. And then I need to divide both sides by 8. So x equals 25. So now that I have solved for x, my final step, if I look back at the top, says to plug x in to find the angle measures. So I'm going to start with, let's start with G. So G says to do 2 times x. So I'm going to do 2 times, we said x is 25. So 2 times 25 is 50. So that means the measure of angle G is 50 degrees. This right here is 50 degrees. So now let's find the measure of H. Well, H says to do 4 times x and then take away 20. So I'm going to do 4 times x is 25 minus 20. So 4 times 25 is 100. Take away 20 is 80 degrees. So the measure of angle H is 80 degrees. And now let's find the measure of angle I. So to find I, it is also 2x. You don't have to work it out, but I'm going to because it's exactly like angle G. So it is also going to be 50 degrees. So that is how you use our steps to find missing angle measures. So let's practice another one. So let's take a look at example 2. We're actually going to do 3 examples. So let's draw this triangle. And we're going to label it EDF. Angle E is 6x plus 1. Angle D is 13x minus 3. And angle F is 68 degrees. So they actually tell us what the measure of angle F is. So let's see how this works with our steps. So first let's write our equation. I'm going to start with E. So 6x plus 1 plus 13x minus 3 plus 68. And the rule says, or the angle relationship says, all of those added together equals 180. So now I've got my equation. Now I'm going to solve for x. So I do notice that I have some like terms. 6x and 13x are alike because they both have x. 1, -3, and 68 are alike because they don't have x. So now let's combine those. 6x plus 13x is 19x. 1 minus 3 is -2, and -2 plus 68 is going to be plus 66 equals 180. So now I want to isolate that variable. So subtract 66 from both sides. And when you do that, you get 180 minus 66 is going to be 19x equals 114. And then I'm going to divide both sides by 19 to get x equals 6. And now my fourth step, I'm just looking back at my steps up here. That's what I want you to do if you need to, is look back at your notes. Now I want to plug that in and find my angle measures. Well, guess what? I already have the measure of angle F, so I don't need to do anything for that. So let's find E. So I'm going to say 6 times x plus 1. Well, x was 6. So 6 times 6 plus 1. 36 plus 1 is 37 degrees. So the measure of angle E is 37 degrees. And now let's take a look at D. So that says to do 13 times x minus 3. So 13 times 6 minus 3. 13 times 6 is 78. And then 78 minus 3 is 75 degrees. So the measure of angle D is 75 degrees. I do want to point out one more thing to you. So let's look at example 3. If I draw a triangle that has this symbol in it, I want you to think back. Oh, let's go ahead and label it all, then I'll explain that. So I have ABC, and angle A is 5x plus 5. Angle C is 3x plus 5. What does angle B equal? Well, if it has that little square, that's a right angle. And right angles have 90 degrees. So they tell us that B is 90 degrees. So it's actually like example 2. You just have to know or remember what that square is. So let's write our equation. 5x plus 5 plus 3x plus 5 plus, that square was 90. And remember, all of our inside angles add up to equal 180. That's your angle relationship. So now I want to solve this equation. So it looks to me like I need to combine some like terms. 5x and 3x both have an x. 5, 5, and 90 are plain old numbers, so they're alike. 5x and 3x is 8x. 5 and 5 is 10, plus 90 is 100, equals 180. So now I'm going to isolate that variable. So I'm going to subtract 100 from both sides. I get 8x equals 180 minus 100 is 80. And now I'm going to divide both sides by 8 to get x equals 10. And my final step says to plug that in to find what the angles measure. Well, we already have B, so now I'm going to find what angle A measures. So I've got 5 times x plus 5. We said x is 10, so 5 times 10 plus 5 5 times 10 is 50, plus 5 is 55. So angle A is 55 degrees. That measures 55 degrees. And let's take a look at C. C is 3 times x plus 5. X is 10, so 3 times 10 plus 5. 3 times 10 is 30 plus 5. So the measure of angle C is 35 degrees. So remember to follow your steps to find what x is, to find your equation, then find what x is, and then you can find what each angle measures.